Men and abortion, what you don't know can hurt you. Coming up next on the Woman to Woman Show. Hi, I'm LouAnn. Welcome to the Woman to Woman Show. But as you might be able to notice, I've got some men with me today. I have got four gentlemen to introduce you to, and we are going to have a great discussion. On my left, you may remember, we have Graham Rintoul. We have Dr. Lawrence Johansen, Deacon Mike Caldwell, Dr. Jerry Snow. Welcome to the show. Gentlemen, we are here to talk to the people of Portland about something that just isn't talked about much these days in Portland and other places, and that's men and abortion. This has been talked about over and over and over as a woman's issue, and all of you are here to share a perspective on this subject, and I thank you so much for your willingness to share what you know and what you've observed and what you felt about abortion and its role in men. And we're going to just start at the end of the table with Graham, who is, we've had you before, and we're so grateful you're back. And for those people that may not have watched the show or you were on before, let's just start at the beginning and tell briefly your story and what your past experience with abortion is and why you're here.
Okay. Back in 1975, I was part of an abortion, and I was 22 and thought I knew pretty much everything at that time. Subsequent to the abortion, I didn't speak, think, talk about it for more than 30 years. And in 2007, I crashed. Everything came to the forefront, and I realized what I had done, what I had taken part in.
Was there a trigger of some sort?
There was a few things that happened at church, and one of the real interesting things, and I still marvel at it, was a prayer night. Our entire church was just in prayer, and the woman sitting next to me said, "Can I pray for you?" Now, I'd never met this woman. She didn't know me from anybody else in the 300 people that were there. And she said that she really felt this urgent need to pray for me.
Interesting.
And that's what started me down the path of looking into my abortion involvement, and through a number of different ways that then transpired over the next several weeks.
And how many people had you told up to that point?
At that point, zero.
No way.
Zero.
Just held it inside all that time.
So other than my partner, who of course knew, because she was the other hand.
Right.
My first wife didn't know, my family didn't know, my second wife of then 18 years didn't know.
Oh my heavens.
And,
it's a big secret.
So a big secret. We put a lot of time and energy into keeping it a secret.
Did your parents know?
No. And I don't know if her parents know. No.
Oh, wow. That's pretty big
But that
secret.
started me down the road to say, I need to take ownership of this. I need to deal with it.
Okay.
And started down doing some research on the internet and found my way to 2 different recovery programs that were available here in Portland.
And I definitely want to talk about that further with you coming out of the other side of this recovery process, because I know you've got a lot to say about that.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you. How about Lawrence?
Well, my story was when I was in training, residency for medicine in the late 80s. I had a young lady who was maybe 20, married, already had a less than 2-year-old child.
Wow. And
finds out she's pregnant again. And she came to me, she's just distraught because they're very poor. And she goes, I can't afford this. We just can't afford it. And I'm thinking about having an abortion. And so I said, well, I don't think anybody would blame you for having an abortion, and you'll get over it, and it's, went through that whole shtick. Well, she came and saw me not long after she'd had this abortion and was just distraught. Just almost inconsolable. And I don't remember seeing her after that, and it sort of stuck with me, and I worked on it over the next 10 years.
Wow.
Until I was able to counsel another couple, young married couple, got pregnant before they were ready for it, came to ask me, we're thinking of having an abortion, what do you think? And I said, I think you will always regret it.
Really?
Yes, and there's a 10-year-old girl out there, just a beautiful child who they decided to keep it, and so I know you can't make amends for past mistakes, but at least I thought I
you had a different answer that time.
A different answer and a better one.
So what did it do to you throughout the years that you reflected on that first girl?
Not a whole lot, other than just saying, I wished I would have, as a physician, given better advice to somebody who was wanting to feel better, both emotionally and physically. And I just felt that as a physician, I shouldn't have encouraged the taking of life. It wasn't until I went to one of these recovery programs, and that was my reason for going, that it hit me pretty hard during that weekend.
Wow.
And a very nice catharsis.
Yeah.
I don't feel as guilty now about the whole thing as I did before.
Well, I think that's important for your going forward with your role as a physician, and obviously that was definitely the right thing to do. And so you did the same retreat, the Rachel's Vineyard retreat.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, and we're going to talk about the other program that you really recommend too. So that's great. So that was. Did you go at the same time or different?
No,
different weekends.
Different time, yeah.
Okay, but you both
met him
did
when he was there for his first, and my wife had she cooks for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so I tried to come by and help her, and I met Graham and chatted with him at that time. That's how we got to meet.
Oh wow, that is great that was the right timing for you to do that, and I want to hear more about what you experienced there too. Yeah. And moving to this end of the table, we're not going to forget about you, Deacon Mike.
Yes.
What brought you to this subject and its effect?
It was very similar to Graham's story. As a matter of fact, we were on the same weekend together at Rachel's Vineyard. Yeah. And it was over 35 years ago, my girlfriend came to me and said that I'm pregnant and I'll take care of it. And so I didn't say a word, because I think at that time I was pretty ignorant about life in the womb and a lot of things like that.
Were you high school age, college age?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Early 20s.
And so I'm thinking, at the time, well, great, so take care of it. That's nothing, that's off my shoulders now, right? So.
And it was long past Roe v. Wade being passed, of course.
Right. So that's 37 years ago. And I just buried it all these years, just like Graham, and just keeping it inside. And it was just recently, then the last 3-4 years, then I started feeling the effects of it. And for me, it was my relationship with God, because it was just not right, and it was stifling that relationship. My spirituality was stifled. I could not move forward. I was in a formation program for the diaconate, and I had to go deeper.
Really?
And and it was preventing me from going deeper. It was something there was stopping me, and what is that? And finally, I told my priest, and he says, "Oh, well, I know what it is. Just go to Rachel's Vineyard weekend. You'll figure it out." So through that Rachel's Vineyard weekend, I figured it out and was able to address that issue. And then it did hit me hard that weekend too.
Of course.
And so then I realized that I have a daughter, and I was part of her murder. So.
Wow.
So it was hit pretty hard.
That is pretty hard. And at the time that you weren't talking about it, that it was buried, who else knew?
Nobody.
No. Nobody. And not your parents, not. Do you know if your girlfriend's parents ever knew?
No,
or?
no, nobody knew.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's the kind of secret that does damage, doesn't it? That we know now, and that's probably pretty typical, as you've probably found out. It's pretty typical to bury this.
Yes.
Yeah.
For men more so than women.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine. Okay. Well, that's important. This journey, and you have a story about being a physician also in your experience.
Yes, I do. Actually, initially, though, my being here tonight is because of my friendship with Graham. We've known each other the last couple of years through our church, Calvary Chapel Southeast, and attended a home fellowship together and getting to know Graham better and better through this time. We began to have discussions at men's retreats regarding everything that he was going through. And just sort of talking about it made me think about my involvement as a physician. Yeah. I sit back somewhat ashamed thinking where I started, going back to the early 70s when I was going to undergraduate school. And at that time, I think like most of us, we believed in the woman's right to choose, because that was. They
never say choose what, right? They just
correct.
Love those.
But
those
it seemed very correct at that time. And even although personally, as a Christian at that time, I did not believe that personally. I thought, well, it seems right that a woman has the right to choose, but it was a very naive thought. I didn't understand my own faith. I didn't understand really what I believed. And fortunately, through my 20s and more so through my 30s, really firming that up, what I believe, and what I believe God feels about the issue of abortion, it really helped me define where I'm at today. I've watched my practice over the last few years, and I think I'm much more emphatic. I'm much more willing to share the truth with people. Whereas back 20 years ago, not so much. I'd present the option saying, Dr. Johansen, same thing. I wish I'd been more direct with people, saying, I believe this is going to hurt you if you make this decision.
Yeah.
I would often share I don't necessarily agree with your decision, but unfortunately it wasn't really saying there are other ways to do this. You're going to regret this decision.
It wasn't talked about.
It wasn't talked about.
No.
And now 20 years later, I see the impact on my patients and families and my friend and what it has done to lives. And from here forth, I'm planning to be very direct.
And you talked about seeing people present with other symptoms, depression, and of course we've got eating disorders. We've got, it's at your doors, I'm sure, all the time. And do you know or have strong feelings sometimes that an abortion is behind some of this?
As a family physician, not trying to be an expert in mental health issues, you're always looking for what's the trigger. Why is this person here experiencing severe anxiety or a panic disorder or true post-traumatic type of issues?
Yeah.
Why are they here? And that seems to be the key, is to be able to unlock those issues to help them heal.
Right.
Otherwise, if you don't find the trigger, they likely will never heal completely.
Well, those are wise words, and we want to help everyone out there find the trigger so that they can heal. And mostly, we're going to take a break now, and then I want to come back, and I want your advice to the young men listening out there right now that may be about to make an important decision on abortion, and a decision that will change their lives forever. And we hope it's the right decision for life, and we're going to tell them why when we come back, okay? So hang on, and we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Dr. Alveda King, uniting the dream of civil rights and moral rights for abundant living. I want to talk to you today